I don't know. I'm kind of on the heels of like, was I courageous enough yesterday, to be honest with you?
Yeah.
And then how do you do that well? Because what we have learned in that scenario is the fight doesn't. It's what you've always talked about. I've come back to this. You made this comment a year and a half ago to me, but the only doorway that opens, or the only doorway through which the gospel can go, is compassion, right?
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, how do you those two things for me as a man feel at odds at times of like compassion and courage. But as I'm saying it, it's like it takes courage to have compassion.
Yes.
And still also stand for what's right.
Yes.
That's the pull.
Which
I don't know if
I
any
think
of that makes sense.
I definitely hear you, and I think that well, I think half of the battle is remembering we are meant to fight for people, not against people.
Yeah.
And so, even when people do,
that's a really good line right there.
Draw a line in the sand.
Yeah. You're not fighting for an ideology.
Yeah, you're supposed to be fighting for people.
Yeah.
And even if you look at who are the people that Jesus fought for,
it was the outcasts. It was.
It really was. It was like the people that were not doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that hadn't done it right.
Yeah.
And had a lifestyle of not doing it right.
Yeah.
Which I do think there is a sect of Christianity still that will draw a line in the sand and say, this is what we believe. Now, often they draw a line in the sand that is, it's at a pulpit, or at a church door and then they'll get everybody in that room that agrees with them. And they'll like speak really hard truths, and say, this is what we believe. I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah.
But but
amongst all these people that agree,
but they say it, it's like what I don't know. They call it something in sociology where it's like where you're just reinforcing a bias. Inside of a vacuum.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't think what they call it. Anyway, so it's like
echo chamber.
Yeah, so it creates this echo chamber back to them, and there's like this boldness that people will follow, and they're speaking truth. Okay. Which even kind of comes back to what I was talking with you about the funeral. Was like, is it really enough to speak truth if you're not speaking honesty? I mean, you could have drawn a line on morality.
Yeah, I mean, when we did that,
ethics,
we did that in the beginning, and
say, here it is, and we've now put you over there, and we're over here, and look at the line.
Yeah.
I think the courage we have to find is to go cross over the relational line, which is compassion, to cross over a relational line that is compassion.
Yeah.
And be willing to fight for people, not against people.
Yeah.
And I do think there is a way there is a way, and I don't think Jesus did it. Jesus found, like, that was what he did. That was what he led in. He led in a way that was, I'm going to go engage.
Yeah.
And that was the arena.
Yeah.
Like, not just I'm going to proclaim the ideology, put you on the other side of it.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to proclaim an honesty, and I'm going to try and bring you into it.
Yeah.
You think that's right?
I think so. I think it is.
Could probably have that talk all over again. Or we just don't, right? Yeah, I think even just to go back to the Braveheart thing, that coming into Charlie Kirk's, the anniversary of his death, or however you call that, that I did see how much that affected so many men, and even still, like, guys that I'm spending time with, meeting with, still to this day, are like pointing back to that day as a pivotal day, like almost like a day of repentance. It was like, man, like something happened that wasn't just surface for them. It was like something touched their heart deeply on that day. That was like, that made them think, I need to do something.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like maybe up to that point.
Yeah.
Well, if Charlie's doing it, then I can follow Charlie. And in Braveheart, you've got William Wallace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Robert the Bruce, who is the rightful kind of heir to the throne of Scotland. And then Robert the Bruce's dad, you remember? And like at one point in the movie, Robert the Bruce is speaking of William Wallace and saying, "But I want to follow him because of his bravery, because of his courage, because he fights for something that is right."
Mm.
And his dad says to him, Robert the Bruce's dad says to him, but he says, "Well, uncompromising men are easy to follow, but it's our ability to compromise that makes us great." And that's what he says. But like that line in the movie, kind of, at least for me, becomes like the antithesis of freedom.
Yeah.
It's like the anti-freedom that is. He's trying to say to him, no, you need to compromise. And by compromise, you need to betray William Wallace. You need to betray what is right. You need to betray the cause to elevate self. Okay, like that's what he's saying. Because he's trying to get his son to be king. And so he's making a compromise with England in order to get to the throne of Scotland, right? And Robert the Bruce's dad becomes like really almost more than Longshanks, the enemy of the story, right? Because he's the one that like really guts William Wallace from the inside.
Yeah.
And it's something that movie, like at least when I was growing up, like that movie was like just one of those movies that you're just like, it makes you just want to
be a man.
Want to be a man. It's just like, man, like I want to paint my face blue,
Yeah.
I want to go fight for something that's real, and I'm going to go pick a fight, which is what he kind of says in the middle of the movie when he's riding out to the middle. He's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to pick a fight." And it makes you want to be a man. And it's something that over this last week, even, like there's been multiple guys that I'm meeting with that are, and I don't think cynically, they're just like honestly pointing out the cowardice in the church. And how is really asking the question, is a godly man a man that is passive and that just is like always like agreeable? And I'm just like, no. Now, I do think there's a distinction that is what we've just were mentioning, that is, it's the distinction in bravery of, are you trying to fight against people?
Yeah.
Or are you trying to fight for people?
Yes, that's the key.
And if we say, oh, I'm going to be brave and I'm going to go fight against people, then I think we ultimately then fight against God, because that's like God is fighting for people.
Yeah.
But to say passivity or to not fight is godly or is Christ-like, I don't think that's accurate at all. And it goes back to the things we talked about with pure desire. If there is a pure desire that's in us to fight, and if we can see in Scripture that we're supposed to put on the full armor of God, there's no reason to put on the full armor of God if we're not meant to be in a fight regularly. Right. But it shouldn't be a fight against flesh and blood. We're not fighting against people. We're fighting for people. But we are fighting against wrong ideologies, which is like, and we'll get, God willing, we'll get into the rest of this podcast talking about the perspective, And so we kind of said we're in this journey right now that is, I think we called it the five P's of the pursuit of cultural transformation. Yep. And so the first one we talked about last episode was the patch, which was really just about spiritual depth perception. And that if we, like with my son, if we go through life blind in one eye, we can see clearly, we just can't see deeply. Yeah. And so we'll go through life either repeatedly injured or lacking eternal purpose. But God has made us with the capacity to see through two eyes, not just physiologically, but to have two focuses. A local earthly focus, that is, what are we doing throughout our days, but also the ability to have an eternal focus to see beyond that. So we, as Paul says, we, quote, focus not on what is seen, because what is seen is temporary. We focus instead on what is unseen, because what is unseen is eternal. And the need for us in a day and age where I would say there's such spiritual blindness. Yeah. that people are seeing a lot of things clearly in the world, and they see everything that's happening in 3 dimension. They know logic, they know science, they know language,
Yeah.
and yet they've lost touch with eternity. They can't see beneath or through what's happening, and so the need to patch. And so anyway, so that I think for me, it's not just a great analogy; it's a great practice.
It is,
that we have to learn. We have to teach ourselves, and there's an awakening that happens in that. And even just this last week, we were in Colorado at family camp, which I'd love for you to kind of give a little insight to the experience there. But it was so awesome for me, Austin, to watch men and women and kids that were there, including even Finn, like have a new eye opened to see God kind of in and through everything, and to have a different perspective that was like an awakening perspective.
Yeah.
And gosh, there's probably 3 podcasts we could do kind of just out of that idea.
Exactly.
That is like what is happening with the right side of our brains? Are we losing humanity? Are we becoming robots? Whatever. But anyway, give a little feedback from family camp, and then maybe if you can pull it in with what's God doing inside of you, or what do you see God doing around you with courage, and with putting courage into people and bravery. Like, what do you see with that?
Yeah. Well, on family camp was absolutely incredible, and such a blessing to be there. It was beautiful. The weather was great, and just the people. It's such a you can just tell God is in the middle of it, because the right families were there. Each time the right families have been there.
Yes.
And there's an immediate, we've talked about this before, on just a normal earthly level, it takes a long time to build relationship, right?
Yes.
But when the Holy Spirit's involved, and there's
like fast forward.
It's like we're there. And you go all of a sudden from not knowing a family to just wanting to be in it with them, loving them dearly, loving their kids, excited for what they are doing, and that's exactly what happened again this year. So it was a ton of fun.
Fast forward of relationships, or like this quick community, was incredible.
It was absolutely incredible.
I think with men, women, couples, children, it was like, I remember we were 28 hours into it. Yeah. Like 28 hours in, and I was just like, wow, like it's already happened. It was like awesome. It was miraculous. Yeah. So the relationships part of it, or the community part of it, was awesome. The weather was awesome, like you said. Yeah. What else were the takeaways, do you think, for you, for your family, for the other people that were there?
Yeah, I think one of the things that was really big for Ash and I, we talked about Sabbath again, and we did an episode, I don't know how many episodes ago, on Sabbath, but we really kind of unpacked that as a group. You did a great job of walking everyone through that, and for a lot of people there, it was their first time to hear that, and then others it wasn't, and so it was incredible just walking through that as a group. So that's an area that we've kind of walked back through as we've even re-engaged. And, when you come back from vacation, the immediate thing that you hear all the time is like, oh my gosh, I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday that had also been on vacation last week as well. And he made the comment, he's like, I don't even know if it was worth it, because of how busy it's been. Wow. And I'll say, there's been seasons for Ash and I where we've gone on vacation, we've come back, and we've made the comment, we need to rest from vacation.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah. The thing for us, again, we talk about it, rising tide of like sacred principles into simple practices, right? And so that was an area that as we've re-engaged back into this week, I mean, for both of us, it's been a really busy week, and we've had a lot going on. But we have felt more excitement, more energy, we've worked for more rest than I think ever before, because we've tried to really sit in this principle of Sabbath and understanding and believing that there is Sabbath rest even right here, right now, and today, And so that was one that's just been
I think that's incredible, especially when you talk about it on the platform of continued community. Yeah. That is like, it wasn't just an experience, it was a formation of community that has continuity to it. Yeah. But then also there's continuation of content, that is like this is stuff that we talked about that we're excited to get back home and to put into practice. And the practice of it is already producing fruit.
Yeah.
And that's been consistent, like with the conversations I've had. I mean, for one, on the drive home, we had 15 hours on the way home. Like we were kind of talking in our car quite a bit, and calling around to everybody, and so there was this resonation of like, man, we've experienced something incredible, and we're excited to get back home.
Yeah. Same for us.
And it wasn't this dread of like, I got to get back to it. It was like, oh, we get to go put some stuff into practice.
That's exactly what it is. For Ash and I both, it felt like, okay, we've got some new tools that we're like, let's go, or if we use the we're at war analogy, is like, hey, we've got some new weapons. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
Yes.
Of how we're going to re-engage as we step back in. And we're kind of, you get a new weapon or a new tool, you want to go use it.
No, that's so true.
That's
so
what
true.
we
I know
felt.
that was true when I got my new chainsaw. I was like, I can't wait to get this out and see what it'll do on a tree. You know? Like,
so that's been incredible for us and for our family. And I think there's multiple things. Even just, we hiked Mount Engineer on day, what was that? The first day that we went off, out of camp. Yeah. And just, you set it up really well of saying, hey, as families, if we want to be families that are different, that are resetting culture, we have to do things that are different.
Yeah, if you want to get to a place that very few people go, you have to be willing to do the things that very few people do. Yeah. And if we want our families to be set apart and to be different, then we have to do not just what everybody does. And we have to do it with intentionality, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about going and doing something hard. Yeah. It's like, do the right hard. Yeah. If you want to get to the top of that mountain, well, here's the pathway to get there. But if you get there, you get to experience something that so few people get to experience.
Yeah, and so that day was incredible, and there were so many things that were really exciting for me in that day. One of them, Ashton and Cruz and I ended up walking a lot of the way up together, and because Cruz was determined, he wanted to make it to the Eagle's Nest. Yeah, and is the Eagle's Nest, did we come up with that?
I don't know.
Because my boys told everybody in Durango that they went to the Eagle's Nest.
Dude, I love it. It's at so you just to kind of catch everybody up, Mount Engineer outside of Durango, kind of north of Purgatory Ski Resort there. You leave from, I think it's Coleridge Pass or some full something pass, right? And there's a trail that goes up, and the whole trail up it's maybe 4.5 miles to the very top. But it kind of runs like a hyperbolic function. Okay? Yeah. It's like, you're going up and up and up, but then as you get to the top, it just gets steeper and steeper. Yeah. And when you're maybe 7/8 or whatever the way up, there's like this bunch of this shale or this rock that's kind of broken off. Somebody built it into like this kind of nest up there. Yeah. And it's like such an epic spot because you get like almost a 360 view above the tree line. And so that's the Eagle's Nest is like,
you got to scramble to get up to it a little bit.
No, it's a challenge. It's a real challenge for sure.
Yeah. And so all of my boys were excited. The 3 older ones went with your boys, and so they were just pumped to, like, we did it with the teenagers, but Cruz was absolutely determined. And the whole way up, I'm like, do you want me to carry you? No, Dad. I'm doing it. No, Dad. And just seeing that determination in his heart was
Isn't that awesome?
Absolutely incredible.
Okay, and so even, with you talking about them following kind of the older boys, right? Yeah. How much do you think that experience changed their experience, just having those older boys there?
Well, there can be a tendency at times, okay? For all of us, I'm really guilty of this as well. Okay, so let's use this like, if I was to go run by myself, I could come up with some excuses to stop, run a slower pace, maybe I don't feel like it today. Yeah. But if I know I'm going to go run with some friends, like, I'm going to keep up. Yeah. It's going to be a competition, right?
Especially if you like them, want to impress them, want to be like them.
Exactly. And so for my boys, very much looking up to Kaysen and KJ and the other guys, it's like, we want to keep up with these guys. They said we could come with them, so we don't want to let them down. And this is an honor. And so it's almost like I'm going to step up and step into it. And that's exactly what they did. And I did not see them all day.
Man, I think that is so important, even to tie it back in with the thing we're talking about with courage or bravery. Yeah. Okay. That is, if an older hero,
Yes.
like somebody that you look up to, you like, you want to be like in some way,
Yeah.
will just invite you along and say, hey, like, you can come with me.
Yep.
The power of that in a younger man's life
Yeah.
is
It's exponential.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
And what you can do if you have that.
Yeah.
And even I would say on the other side of it, even if you're the older person where you've got younger eyes on you,
Yeah.
okay? Because frankly, like I'm at the spot where I've been up that mountain a lot of times at
Yeah.
this point, okay? And you know, like I'm now 50 something years old, you know? But Brave Brave and Riker both.
Yeah.
They were like, we're going to the top. Now Tim had to stay back with the babies, and so Noelle was there with the older boys, and they're like, they want to go.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know, at one point, one of them said, "I'm going to the top, no matter what, you know, no matter what my parents say." And I was like, "Well, we're probably not going to do that, but here's your options."
Yeah.
I was like, you know, you can either go back and you can walk with your mom, you can walk with those guys over there, or if you want to, I'll go to the top with you.
Yeah.
And their desire to go to the top took me to the top.
Wow.
Okay. So I think it also works two ways, you know?
Yeah.
Which it was pretty cool on the way back down because, you know, Brave and Riker, they were strong. They did awesome. But also at one point coming, you know, it's one of those things, it's steep enough to where, you know, it is a scramble on the way up.
Yeah.
And if you've ever like been in that kind of situation, it's easier to go up than it comes down, than it is to come down once you get to a certain kind of steepness. And so, you know, they're like, you know, we're going up like this, and it also had rained quite a bit the night before, and so it was like it was a little sketchy. And so we'd turn around and start coming back down, and I could just tell Brave he's afraid.
Yeah.
And so and him being afraid makes me afraid too, because I'm like, I'm responsible for this kid, and so like I'm like, okay, buddy, we're gonna do this together now, you know. And so we start coming down, and eventually like we get down low enough to where I can tell he's like good now, right? And so I asked him, I was like, Brave, so do you know what your name means? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, what does it mean? It means to be brave. I'm like, yeah, I know, I know. But what does that mean? He's like, to be brave.
Yeah. It's not that hard.
And
Matt.
I was like, yeah, no, I know. But what does the word bravery mean? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I said, what it means is to be afraid and to still have courage.
Yeah.
And I said, I watched you today. Yeah. And you lived out your name. You were brave.
Wow.
Because I watched you get afraid and to still have courage. Yeah. Okay. I don't think any man in this world exists in a place where they never get afraid.
Yeah.
But we can't be cowards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't be cowards because we're afraid of the kickback, afraid of the ridicule, afraid of being different, afraid of offending. We can't be cowards. And the Church of Jesus Christ should not be filled with cowards.
No.
Jesus was not a coward.
No.
And Jesus didn't just sit in an insulary room called a temple or a church or sanctuary, surround himself with an echo chamber and make extreme statements.
Yep.
And that's not bravery either.
No.
And I feel like we've got kind of almost like these two different paradigms that are existing simultaneously. That is, one of them is you get out amongst real people, or you get in a situation that might be litigious. In other words, like it might have a lawsuit associated with it or whatever. Yeah. And it's like there's extreme cowardice that's happening by the church. Yeah. But then simultaneously, if we can get just all the people that agree with us in a room, then we'll make super bold statements about what's true. Yeah. but it is truth. It's just there's very little honesty that's left in it.
Yeah.
Because it's not being lived out in a way that fights for people.
Yes.
And you can sit in an insular room and say, oh, well, we don't believe in this, and we're going to take a stand for this, and really put a bunch of other people on the other side of a line and say, I'm going to draw a line in the sand and put all these other, but there's none of those people in that room.
No.
Or you can maybe do that on Facebook, or like Instagram, be like, oh, I'm going to make a statement like through social media and draw a real line. But if we look at what Jesus did, Jesus crossed those lines.
Yep.
Why? Because he had the courage to do so.
Yeah. It's courage.
And he went into the house of a tax collector. He found a prostitute, found people that were not living it. And because of compassion, together with courage, he accomplished kingdom.
Yeah.
And I think, gosh, I think we've got to find a way to do that. And one of the things we've said with Rising Tide is that we feel like the first objective for men is we have to put courage inside of men.
Yes.
Encouragement means to put courage into.
Yes.
And community is one of those things. That was one of the beautiful things at family camp.
Yeah.
That's one of the awesome things that's happening at the resets, either the marriage or the family or the men's ones, is like there's all of a sudden this depth of community that's happening quicker and deeper than is happening kind of on a Sunday morning. Like there's just something about setting aside the time to go deeper, right? Yeah. And it's like it happens quick, right?
Yeah.
But that community, especially if you have younger and older that will say, hey, let's try and be in this together. Yeah. And man, I just think there's so much on that mountain that was represented by also the whole experience in Colorado, but it's something that we've got to do this. And I think there's so many men, if I'm honest, that are just hungry for bravery. Yeah. I think that's why Charlie Kirk had such an impact.
They feel it's like driving by that mountain and seeing, I'd kind of like to do that. I'd kind of like to go up that mountain. Yes. But if you're by yourself, you're like, man, I don't know. But if you've got someone in front of you, someone that you can do it with, it's like, yeah, we got this.
Yes.
And so I think it's also that combination of what you're saying of community, of being able to have that better hero in front of you, that partner in arms right next to you, and to step into courage and compassion at the same time,
Man, I think this is even a great way to say it, even in the mountain analogy, to be like, I think there's so many people that look at mountains and they say, oh, I can describe a mountain to you. Yeah. I can even describe mountain engineer to you. Have they ever been up it?
No.
No. But I can tell you what it looks like from the road. I drove by it. I saw it. Yeah. And how many people have driven by the mountain of God? Yeah.
So, let's take this even a step further. I could see where if my family was out there, just the six of us, and we did not have, the things necessary, we drove by that mountain and we would look at it and we'd say, man, that'd be cool. Someday,
yeah, what if?
Someday.
What if someday? Yeah.
What if someday? But being in it with people, it's like, no, that someday is today, and we're gonna go do this, and we're gonna do this together.
Okay, so that someday is today.
Yeah.
That thing that gets us from observation, even admiration, into action. Okay, that it's not just an eventual; it's a now. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
That thing is courage.
Yeah.
And courage of community, courage of resolve, courage of grit, perseverance. I don't know, like to have a fear, have an anxiety, to have even an unknown, and to grasp the unknown of it and just say, hey, I'll never know unless I try. Yeah. But in the trying, I think that's exactly where God meets us. And so what we said from the very beginning of this, Austin, is we've said this podcast is for people who want to try. Yeah. If you don't want to try, if you just want to have an intellectual conversation, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to the place where there are sacred principles. Yeah. And there is a mountain that we don't just want to know the statistics of it,
Mm-hmm.
know the elevation, the trees on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We want to experience it. We
Yeah.
want to go up it, and we
We
want
wanna
to try it
conquer it.
together.
We want to conquer it.
Yeah, we want to conquer it.
Yeah.
And the view from up there,
Yeah.
at the Eagle's Nest.
Yeah.
You know, like when you can get there with your people,
Yeah.
man, it's life changing. It makes all the difference for us. You know, just in this last week, we both were at a funeral.
Yeah.
For a young man.
Yeah.
I mean,
A friend. Yeah.
a friend
Yeah.
that took his own life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
man, it was hard. It was really hard. I mean,
was.
it was a guy that used to be involved in the campus ministry that I led for years.
Yeah.
And I was very much a part of like the early days of spiritual formation in his life. And haven't been connected for, you know, like for a lot of years now. At least not like situationally.
Yeah.
Very much would still say my heart was very connected to him.
Mm-hmm.
And man, there's a lot of circumstances that surrounded that. But somehow he got to the place where he was hopeless.
Yeah.
He ultimately lost all courage, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's something about it that I know I told you this, and I'm still probably processing it, Austin. But I think if we're talking about courage, talking about bravery, we're talking about like how are we going to engage with ourselves, with our families, with people around us. There was something about that like just. I know this isn't how funerals go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not trying to say this is how it should have went.
Yeah.
But I just wanted somebody to stand up in there and say, this isn't right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and we've got to do something different.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a firefighter.
Yeah.
He was a family man. He was heavily involved in his church.
Yeah.
And yet somehow still got to that place of ultimate desperation, ultimate loss of courage, hopelessness. And again, at the funeral, there was a lot of truth that was spoken. Truth about God, truth about him, truth about his circumstances. But there's something inside of me that just was like, I just wanted somebody to stand up and say, this shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And we should do something different.
Yeah.
As a church,
Yeah.
as a friend, as a family, as whatever, like this should not happen.
Yeah.
Like can we not see this circumstance and get motivated by it?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, is there a time to mourn and to say, man, like let's try and take care of the family and the kids and to pray and to weep with those who weep. Yeah, for sure. But man, I also just think there's something that has to stir inside of us that's like, no, like let's not let this happen anymore, not on our watch.
Yeah.
Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's exactly what you're talking about. I think as men, we all feel that inside of us of like, this is not right. Do I have the courage then to step into that and say that,
Yes.
you know? And I think what we're saying is, we probably need that community to help pull us along in that, you know? So
Because at some point there, again, I don't know all the circumstances that surrounded it, but at some point he felt alone and was alone.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is the loss of community.
Yeah.
And therefore then also the loss of courage. And what is the next step that we take? You know, we're talking about coming back from family camp, this great experience that there was quick community. And of course we could say, oh, everybody needs to just go to family camp. Well, that doesn't always happen that
Right.
way, can't happen that way. And it's not about going to family camp or going to Colorado. There are elements that we experience there that at least I believe we can experience anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so what would be the charge that you would say, or the resolve in a heart if somebody's like listening and they're like, man, I want to be a man of courage, or even just I'm tired of cowardice.
Yeah.
I'm tired of cowardice in my own heart. I'm tired of cowardice that I see around me. I'm tired of the cowardice in the church. What do you think would be the next, like, what do we do? Because like, I don't want to just sit here and say, man, that sucks. We shouldn't do that anymore. Like, what's the next step? What do you think?
Yeah, I have two thoughts. One is, in the last podcast, we talked about better what if questions, right? And so if we were to ask what if questions around, as a man, how do I take this desire within me to fight, to push back against the enemy? And because we all have this innate desire, right? So how do I take that desire and fight for people? Not for things, not for, I think so often in my life, that fight has come out, whether it's like in business, I'm going to fight for this deal, I'm going to fight to achieve this goal, or it's in physical things with, working out or whatever, I'm going to fight for this. But if we could, as men, ask God, okay, God, how do you want me to fight for people better?
Yes.
And I think that kind of, as you said this at the very beginning of our conversation, that's our outlet for courage. That's where, because I think, or that's where the fight has to be lived out. That's the arena, if you will, that we need to step into. I think oftentimes we distract ourselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say, with different arenas. We choose different things.
Right, we choose different value systems,
yes.
right? We say, this is what I'm going to value in my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to value like working out,
yes.
or a physique, or an image,
yeah.
Or I'm going to value a bank account,
yes.
or I'm going to value the success that I find in the business world,
yeah.
or I'm going to value, right?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. And so if we were to ask God better questions around, okay, God, how do I fight for people? How do I fight for my family? How do I fight for the people that I'm around? How do I see people the way that you see them, and not the way that even ideologically that, the world says, hey, we got to draw these lines that you've talked about. And how do I step with courage over that line and say, I'm going to fight for you, or I'm going to step into it with you. Good. And you've shared stories even with me of like, hey, people that have, again, you'll tell me stories of like, hey, I met with this guy. I don't know who the people are, and I don't know what all the circumstances are, but what I've seen you do is you stepped in with someone that has gone through a hard life event. And a lot of times what will end up happening, you'll step in and you'll be in it with that person. And what you've shared with me back is like, they'll say, man, I'm so thankful that you did that, because a lot of people are like, they're confused by the situation, they're hurt by the situation, they're frustrated by the situation, or they just don't know what to do. So they just stay away. Yeah. And that causes, I think, that isolation that you're talking about. And
gosh, that's so true, Austin. And I think part of it is I also experienced that on the other side, like when going through really tough stuff a year and a half ago, that was like, there were some people that really pressed in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in that, they had courage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there were others that just were like, oh, like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to like step away.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, that was it made me feel so alone.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, first off, thankfully, the presence of God. Yeah. And God was so near. Like every challenge is an invitation into intimacy with God. Mm-hmm. And I accepted the invitation. And Kiki and I did. I have an incredible wife, like so incredible kids that we pressed in together. But man, it really was. It was community defining for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think not if anybody has ever been in that circumstance, but if you would just remember it.
Yeah.
Okay? everybody remembers a time where either they went through something hard that happened to them, or maybe even they went through something hard that they perpetuated.
Yeah.
Okay. It was like, you did something wrong here. And the fault is not important at that point.
Yeah.
It's the community and the courage to move forward.
Yeah.
And to lean into it. And I think, I do think that's a huge part of it. That even if we go back to what you just said, that is, if the first step is you have to value something different. And that's probably another way to say what we're saying with the patch, right? That is, if you live your life all the time only valuing or looking at or focusing on the things of this world, the job, the production, the performance, the success, the things, if you only live your life focused on this world and the temporary things, then that is what you will value. It's you're paying all of your attention to that.
Yeah.
And we talked about attention is the highest value.
Yeah.
And so the big part of the patch thing is to try to close that eye for long enough to where you can have a different value system, right?
Yeah.
To where you can see the eternal things,
Yeah.
value the eternal things, and then probably start to practice other values.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say, even with the courage part of it, is courage can't mean for us as Christians to say, oh, well, that's drawing a line in the sand and then going around and telling everybody else how they're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is the fighting against people.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I'm going to have courage as a man of God.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go around and start quoting scripture to people and telling them, I'm going to go find some people, in this parade or in this, like, whatever, in this arena. And I'm going to go get in that arena and tell everybody there how they're wrong. No, it's not about that. It's about having a different value system where you start fighting for people, not against people.
Yeah.
And so this is the way that Jesus kind of frames this thing that we're going to kind of move into, that is the patch moving to perspective. Okay. And so again, the patch is about depth perception, see the eternal along with the temporary, and change a value system to where you're actually pursuing after the eternal, something that matters, something that lasts, something that will remain. And so Jesus says it like this in Matthew chapter 6, starting in verse 19. He says, so do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven where moths and vermin do not destroy and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Yeah.
Okay? So now, I know I've heard this preached this way, and I know a lot of people, when they first hear heaven, especially in a Western Christianity context, they're thinking post-death. That is not the way that Jesus talks about heaven.
Yeah.
And so we've got to somehow figure out a way to get that and I'm not trying to say there is not a post-death life. I do absolutely believe that there is.
Yeah.
But remember, Jesus went around proclaiming the kingdom of God is
now
here.
Now, here.
Near. Now.
Yeah.
Heaven is meant to be brought to this earth. That's what I'm here for. To make heaven accessible to you right now.
Yeah.
In my Father's house there are many rooms. If we're not so, I would have told you. I go there to prepare a place for you so I can take you to be with me, he says, where I am. That's what he says. I want to take you where I am right now. And where he am right then, where he is he's on the earth, feet on the ground, in mortal body form, and yet still present with the Father. I want to take you to heaven, to where you can be on this earth, fully engaged with what's happening around you, but also fully engaged with the Father. The access to that is the Holy Spirit. And it is the awakening of your heart.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, can I read this part again?
Yeah.
And like with that context, like if we can just somehow like get out of our minds the idea that Jesus is only talking about a post-death heaven, and realizing what he was trying to prepare us for was a life that's lived on this earth, fully present here,
Mm-hmm.
but also fully present with the Father. And that's where eventually we'll get from patch perspective to pledge and then pipe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And pipe is about a constant connection. Okay. So we'll get into John 15, abiding.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a bit of our progression here. Okay.
Okay.
So it says, verse 19, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy and where thieves break in and steal. Okay. So that is a value system, right?
Yeah.
Treasure. What are you treasuring?
Yeah.
Do you treasure the things that can be stolen? Man, that's material possessions, bank
Mm-hmm.
accounts. Is that your pursuit?
Mm-hmm.
Money, acclaim, whatever. Like it, or even reputation. I mean,
Mhm.
reputation can change in a moment, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're pursuing after? Is that the focus of your life? Like all of this stuff that can be taken away quickly,
Yeah.
right? Even when we talk about identity, we say, who are you independent of vocation, location, relation? Why? Because those things can all change really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you think that's what Jesus is
Yeah.
saying?
I do.
Like,
Yeah.
don't focus on these things. Don't make your life about the accumulation, about the value, the treasure of things that are here today, gone
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow. Okay. But he says, instead, store up for yourselves treasures in heaven. And again, if we don't think about that like post death, what he's saying is put your focus on what can be done eternal while you're on this earth, because that's the stuff that will last.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that's worth fighting for.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that's worth giving everything for. Change your value system,
Yeah.
right? Change your treasure. Because that stuff, moths and vermin do not destroy, and thieves can't take it away from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff, it doesn't matter what happens in life. I can lose every dollar I have tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still have all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's no fire that can burn it down.
Yeah.
There's no, and there was so much of this for me, Austin. You know, when I lost my job with Chi Alpha, there was enough of that was just, it was my identity.
Yeah.
And there was this moment in there for about 2 weeks that it was both like super painful, but it also was this thing of like, I've lost a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, like reputation, position, authority, finance. Like I lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What I quickly remembered, and God really helped me with this. He reminded me of this. He was like, "Oh, all that stuff, yeah, it's gone." But here's what it was. That was wood, that was hay, and that was stubble.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Reputation here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Finance here today, gone tomorrow. Like none of that stuff is what's precious. That's not the stuff that remains.
Yeah.
Right. That's not the treasured stuff. And so, would you rather? This was the question from God. Would you rather know now what's valuable and what's not?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh,
Yes.
I guess in that way, yeah. Like that way, I don't waste another day of my life storing up
Yeah.
the things that can be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I want to focus on the right things.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it says this, and this is tied together. Okay, verse 22. It says, "The eye is the lamp of the body.
Mm-hmm.
If your eyes are healthy." That word that's there in the Greek is like kind of translated a few different ways. So the NIV says healthy. Some translations say clean or clear.
Clear, yeah. For that. Yeah.
And so, but whatever it is, what it's talking about here is perspective.
Yep.
Okay. It's what is the eye that you look through, and what do you see when you look through that eye? Is it healthy? Is it clean? Is it clear? Mm-hmm. And certainly it starts with right values. Okay, or right treasures.
Yeah.
Right. But then it says this. It says like you've got to look through that when you see everything, and you got to filter out the right things. I mean, even these glasses, like these are. Now I've gotten to where I need reading glasses. Thankfully, I just got a new Bible, which is pretty awesome. And one of the reasons My other one's falling apart. But also, I'm struggling more and more to read it. So I'm the big letter guy now.
There you go.
And so I could probably use some reading glasses, but I'd really try to not use them just because I've got a theory about that. But so these are blue light glasses. And one thing I love about like blue light glasses, for one, they supposed to protect your eyes from electronics and stuff like that. But blue light is actually, it's one of the shortest waves of visible light. And so there's something about like even blue light glasses that you're filtering out short wave light.
Interesting.
And I think probably if we're talking about perspective, we probably need to live our lives with blue light glasses.
Yeah.
That we just got to filter out a lot of the short-term stuff.
Yeah.
And here's what, okay, let me finish this passage, and then I want to kind of hear your thoughts on like, what are the implications? What are the practices? Like, how do we put this principle into practice?
Yeah.
And what's the danger of us not? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but let's finish what Jesus is saying. So he says, if your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's a profound promise.
Yeah.
Your whole body will be full of light. Like that imagery of, you can walk around and it's just like you're all light inside.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
Not burdened,
Yeah.
not troubled,
Yeah.
not anxious, not shamed.
Yeah.
Your whole body's full of light.
Yeah.
Off of a change in your vision.
Yeah.
Right? Change in perspective. But if your eyes are unhealthy, unclear, not clean, it says your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? If then the light that's in you, if the only thing that remains in you, if light can't get in through your eyes, and therefore then light up your entire being. And he does say, for where your treasure is, your heart will be also. And I think I've said this before on the podcast. We've definitely talked about this before, that I believe that our hearts is actually the right side of our brains. Okay?
Yeah.
Like that is our place of imagination. It's a place of creativity. It's a place of emotion. It's a place of identity. And so what he's saying is, and if you treasure the right things, your heart will actually come alive. The right side of your brain will come alive.
Yeah.
And instead of it being filled with anxiety, now you're filled with hope. Okay. So, but then he says, but if your eyes are dark, if they're unhealthy, if they don't let light in, if they're not clean, if they're not clear, then there's only darkness that remains inside. And it says, how dark is that darkness? What's that the picture of?
I mean, lostness. I mean, I think that how dark is that darkness? I'm wrestling with that.
I mean, it sounds like hopelessness, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds
like the
despair.
worst. Yeah, the worst. Yeah.
Hopelessness, despair, like endless labor.
Yeah.
Just grinding.
Yeah.
Toil without end, like worry upon worry upon worry, fear upon fear upon fear, like that. At least when I hear that, it's like the contrast of if your eyes are clear, you have the right perspective on things. Not only do you see things well, but that light comes into you, and there's a light that emanates in you and from you.
Yeah.
But man, if it's not, your eyes aren't healthy.
Yeah.
If you don't take the right perspective, if you don't look through the right lens, if you don't see things rightly, the darkness, it's not just that you can't see out, it's the darkness gets in.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many people that because they will not look through the right perspective, they don't see things.
Yep.
They don't see things as, they don't see the right treasure.
Yeah.
Then hopelessness creeps in, despair creeps in, worry creeps in. And what is it? And then there's a diagnosis for all those things. It's called depression, anxiety, like ultimate hopelessness, ultimate despair, ultimate toil. And even if they never get diagnosed, they're just living their lives grinding away.
Yeah.
How dark is that darkness? It's dark.
Yeah.
when that gets in you,
Yeah.
when you're not just viewing it in the world around you and say, man, that's bad out there.
Yeah.
But when it gets in you.
Yeah. And I think that's the key. It gets in you, and then it if not corrected with intentionality and courage, and I mean, just it needs an assault, it continues to build within you.
Yes.
Right.
And it grows.
It grows. Yeah. And I've seen that in people in my own life that, what became a little fear or worry all of a sudden becomes everything that consumes them. And I have a family member that has happened to them, and he's lost years, and it just continues to grow and grow. And it's very sad,
So when you practice worry, when you practice fear, it grows.
It grows. 100% it grows.
When you focus on fear, when you focus on worry, even one of the things we talked about at the when you sit at the tree of death, you focus on what you don't have.
Yeah.
What you can't do and who you are not.
Yeah.
That focus is the focus of death.
Yeah.
It's unhealthy eyes.
Yeah.
When you're looking at what you don't have.
Yeah.
What you can't do, who you are not.
Yeah.
Unhealthy eyes.
Yeah.
Unclear eyes.
Yeah.
And it's not only that you don't see things rightly.
Yeah.
The darkness invades.
And I think that's the really key distinction here, and why this is so important. It's not that you don't, it's what you just said. It's not that you don't just see things correctly and the world is slightly viewed, or maybe you're just a negative person or whatever. It literally comes inside of you and it grows. It perpetuates.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a scary place.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to fight against.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So then Jesus finishes off this. I mean, this connect. I mean, it's hard to separate one part out of here. Like before this part, Jesus is talking about fasting.
Yeah.
That is, can you deny a hunger in order to hunger for the right things? That's really what he's talking about. So we could go back before and see how really, when we're talking about patching, we're talking about a kind of fasting. I mean, and we could just be talking about fasting.
Yeah.
Like just of food. Fasting food is a way to patch. But it's a denial of an earthly thing in the pursuit of a spiritual or eternal one, right?
Yeah.
And then after this section, he just goes straight into not worrying. Don't worry about tomorrow. Today has enough trouble of its own. So there's continuity to all of this. We're trying to take this one little section, but it's all this whole section where Jesus is walking through. It's such a, I mean, it's this whole, this is Jesus's declaration. It's his one sermon that we have recorded.
Yeah.
And so it really can't be taken as one bit, you know? The Sermon on the Mount is it's such a connected piece, but we're taking this one part. We're just talking about the perspective right now, but even to go into worry. And then the next thing he talks about is and by the way, this isn't about judging other people. It's about judging yourself. And so if you get the right lens on, you're not going around judging other people, telling them how they're wrong. You're actually seeing the potential inside of people. Yeah. And you're seeing what's wrong inside of you and seeing the potential inside of you. Yeah. So it's all connected. Beautiful. But okay, so the last part of this little part, it says, so no one can serve two masters. This is right after how great is that darkness? Okay. So it says, so no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and, it's translated here money, but it's mammon is the word that's used there, which is actually it's the love of money or the desire to control things. Yeah. Money is just the easiest tool to control things with. And so it brings it back to a treasure thing. Yeah. Okay. It starts off at treasure and says there's a perspective that's different. Now, practically, how do we get there, Austin? To where we get from a place of unhealthy eyes, unclear vision, whatever we want to call that. That is not just we can't see what God's doing out here, but eventually that darkness invades. That's what it's saying. How do we get from the place of that to a place of right perspective? Or what do we need to stop doing?
I think, well, I really want to hear your thoughts on this, but the thing that first comes to my mind is, so for me, oftentimes when I get into this place, it's rooted, there's a fear that's driving it that causes me to have this short-term perspective. And, for oftentimes, like, fear is like one of those things like, okay, I shouldn't be afraid or don't worry or whatever, but I almost treat it like a suggestion. I don't think Jesus handled do not worry, do not fear as a suggestion.
Yeah, as a command.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, he straight up said it as a command. So if we were to treat that no different than we treated other sins that we look at that we're quick to judge others on or live in shame in our own life in the same regard,
Yes.
then we might, for me at least, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if I then look at that and say that's just as destructive as pornography, as alcoholism, as whatever, name it, gossiping, that's just as destructive. So I'm going to treat it with the same sense of like, I want to fight back against that. I'm going to push the moment that starts to creep in. I'm going to say no and fight against it with all that I have and the strength of the Spirit and push against it. Then I think that's a game changer. It's whenever and it's like, it can be related to any other thing, when we say, okay, well, no, I'm actually justified to worry about this. I'm actually, I need to provide. I need to, I'm responsible for this thing. I own this deal,
Yes.
And so it's okay for me to worry just a little bit about it. If we say that in the same context, it's okay for me to look at a little bit of pornography.
So some of it, I hear you saying, it's like, at least if I hear you right, it's about a surrender of control. There's some of it that is like, I'm not just taking things as a suggestion, but actually I need to surrender.
Yeah.
I need to surrender control of things that I think would absolutely be paired with a changing of value.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, if you value different things, and then also if you surrender control of things,
Mm-hmm.
that changes it for sure.
Yeah.
I was thinking about and I got the privilege to get to know Zach a lot better just over this last week, and I've watched him awaken.
Yeah.
Like, it was really awesome. And not to say Zach's an incredible guy serving the Lord.
Yeah.
But man, like, there was an awakening of perspective that happened with him.
Yeah.
That I think would be one example of, we were talking about parables, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting out in this field, that's filled with aspen trees, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And on one level, you can just look and see beauty and be like, it's a pretty place.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, you could probably go through there, and if you get used to it, you probably don't even see the beauty. You're just like, like, I've been in some really beautiful places where, because of the trash that was on the ground, or the unstableness of the ground,
mm-hmm.
I missed out on the beauty that was around me because I was looking at my feet.
Yeah.
And so, but in that meadow that we were in, I was like, okay, so you guys, let's look. These aren't just trees; these are aspens, and they're the largest organism on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even though there's a grouping of trees right there, and there's one right there, and there's one right there, all of these trees have the same DNA, and they're all connected by their roots.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's a fir tree there. That's just one tree, has its own DNA.
Mm-hmm.
But if we could see beneath the surface, we would see that all of these are connected, and really that's how we're meant to be as the people of God,
Yeah.
And it was like, and so in creation, God's invisible qualities, His divine nature, is being demonstrated to us. So nobody has an excuse not to know God.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a part of perspective that is like, it's almost like you can put on a lens, and if you'll see it, you can see beneath the surface, you can see the image of God.
Yeah.
Or you can hear the voice of God. This would be another way that I would talk about it, is I think that a lot of people know the word of God.
Yeah.
They don't know the voice of God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And God's voice is a spoken word. And God is speaking. I think a lot of people go through life looking at the Word of God
Mm-hmm.
and never looking through it.
That's good.
And I think there's way too many sermons that are preached
Mm-hmm.
that are perfect hermeneutics,
Mm-hmm.
excellent exegesis,
Mm-hmm.
but all they do is they hold up a set of glasses and they're like, look at these.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Great set of glasses. Look at that.
Yeah.
And they do nobody any good
Yeah.
because they don't put them on and
Yeah.
look and see the world differently because of it.
Yeah.
Now, I met with Zach for a little bit on Monday after family camp, and bro, he was like so excited, so pumped, so alive. Like,
Yeah.
and seeing
Yeah.
the world differently. Like, he was like,
Yeah.
I'm seeing a parable everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, it's like I'm seeing God everywhere. I'm hearing the voice of God
Yeah.
in so much of stuff that I'm doing. That I think that would be another way that is like, if we can just train ourselves to think, God, what are you saying through these circumstances, these experiences?
Mm-hmm.
What are you trying to teach me through them? What are you saying through this created world?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to learn about you
Yeah.
through it? Do you think that would help?
Absolutely.
Perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's also a training of, we live in a very fast, we have all the information we need right at our fingertips.
Yes.
So, for example, we have a Google Home in our kitchen, and I hate it. I always joke, like, because the kids will turn it on and it'll be playing, and I'll be like, hey, Google, turn the volume down, and it doesn't listen. And I'll be like, I don't need another thing that doesn't listen to me in this house, you know?
That's right. That's right.
But the thing, what I dislike the most about it is we can be having a conversation as a family in the kitchen, and we can be talking about whatever, you know, I don't know, just any given topic. And the tendency, and I think we're finally getting past this, but the tendency, we got into a habit, our kids would be like, hey, Google, what do you think about this? Or what's the answer to this? And so we've trained and conditioned ourselves, and we're doing this to our kids to immediately go find an answer right away to something. And it could be, there's times 2 + 2 = 4, right?
Yes.
But I think what you're saying is, if we were to pause and take a step back and actually like think through things, train our brains to even think about how to solve a problem, then that's a step into saying, okay, God, now teach me how you want me to think about this. What do you want me to know about this?
Yes.
As opposed to just immediately trying to find just the most surface level quick answer and then move on. And so that's an area, at least in our family, where we're like, okay, how do we practice that more? Can we pause and pray about this and ask God, what do you want us to know about this?
So good.
You know?
So good. So there's part of it that's just slowing down long enough to be like, okay, like what is God saying?
Well, yeah,
What do we believe?
I mean, let's stick with the glasses analogy. How often do you sit there and struggle reading through something when it's like you could stand up, walk across the room, put on the glasses,
see it a
and
lot
then
better.
boom,
Yeah.
and see it fully,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
Really good.
I think
Really
that's an area, and just a simple practice for all of us to be able to take a step back and say, okay, God, what do you want me to know about this? What do you want me to do? And
Yes.
as opposed,
So the patch is about defining or redefining value or treasure, right? And making sure that we see both the temporary parts of life and the eternal parts of life.
Yeah.
The lens or the perspective is about wearing that.
Yeah.
So if we only define our beliefs or define our doctrine, okay, but we don't live it, we don't look through it, then we're going around, even though we don't have ignorance anymore, but we are still always seeing but never perceiving.
Yeah.
We're always hearing but never understanding. We can recite a ton of scriptures. What Jesus would say is, so you diligently study the scripture.
Yeah.
But you can't see me standing in front of you. And then
That's a scary statement.
yeah,
you know?
that is the Pharisees.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
there is a way to diligently study the scripture.
Yeah.
And I do think there's so many people that have just been told, well, Christianity is about reading the Bible.
Yeah.
And so just go read the Bible. And I think so many people are like, okay, I'm reading the Bible, and maybe I feel good because I've ticked the box I was supposed to tick, but I'm not seeing through it.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing myself different because of it.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing other people different because of it. I'm not seeing the future, the past, the present different because of it, because they never understood, like, this is something that's supposed to be worn over our eyes. And instead, it's like it's something that's supposed to be done or studied to like discover what it is versus the lens to look through.
Yeah.
And I think until we get it to the place where it's a lens we look through, this will always just be a ritual, a routine, a religious practice. And here, I mean, I'm not saying, and you guys know, I'm not saying don't read the Bible.
Right.
I'm saying, like, read the Bible for the right reason.
Yeah.
And if you're not putting it on, and so even I think it's the church of Laodicea that Jesus says to them, and you have a lot. You're really wealthy, and you think that you've got it all because you've got money, you've got great clothes. But I tell you, you're pitiful, naked, poor, and blind. And so he says, I want you to go buy something. Buy it with all of your wealth, with your time, your energy, your money. Buy something actually valuable. And so he says, buy gold refined by fire, which I think is a declaration of ultimate value. By intimacy, I think is what that, by love or intimacy with me, okay? Not religious practice, by intimacy with me. Not rituals, not routines. Get gold refined by fire, intimacy with me. By white garments that will cover over your nakedness. You got great clothes, but you're walking around naked because you're not putting faith into action. You don't have any righteous acts. Most of your days are just filled with the pursuit of your own treasure, just filled with your own stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you do all day.
Yeah.
Is you're accumulating wealth for yourselves. You're naked because of it.
Yeah.
You got great clothes, but you're walking around naked. And so he says, buy white garments, the righteous acts of the saints. Those are the white garments. Buy white garments to cover over your nakedness. And then he says, and then I want you to buy medicine for your eyes. Buy an eye salve so you can truly see. You think you see everything.
Yeah.
You think you're super smart.
Yeah.
And if there is a church that I think most out of the 7 in Revelation that most represents the Western church, I think it's that one. That Jesus would say, man, you got a lot. You got a lot of resources, you got a lot of knowledge, you got a lot of intellect, you got a lot.
Yeah.
And you think you're super rich.
Yeah.
But actually, you're kind of pitiful, naked, poor, and blind. Now, Jesus says that judgment, not as a final one. Because he then says, man, but if you'd get this sorted out, if you go buy the right things, if you take all of this opportunity that you have, all this energy, all this money that you've got, and if you just buy the right things, gold refined by fire, white garments cover over your nakedness, and then eye salve so you can truly see. He says, then I would come in and sup with you. In other words, like I'll take you on a date, like I might actually date you again.
Yeah.
I want to make you my bride.
Yeah.
But right now I can't.
Yeah.
You're just not an acceptable bride.
Yeah.
But it's not final judgment.
Yeah.
There's still a chance.
Yeah.
And if you change these things, if you'd value the right thing, and then that's where it comes into. So the right values, worn in a way that you see everything differently and practiced differently, then what happens is you're serving a different master. And you're not trying to serve two. You're just serving one. And so you'll love God.
That's beautiful.
And you won't find yourself in conflict anymore. You won't find yourself with a foot in two worlds.
Yeah.
It's like you'll be fully in. I think another practice I would throw out, and again, we want to try and make this as practical as possible, is I think these things are a lens, and they're really perverted lens.
Yeah.
Whether you're using this as your lens to view world events, that's called news. And I don't care what news source you have.
Right.
If you're using this as your way to view world events, if you're using this as your lens to view relationships, if you're using this as your lens to view values, it's a really dark lens. And I don't think it lets light in. I'm not saying all content that's on here is bad.
Yeah.
And even part of what we're trying to do with this podcast is we're trying to somehow access through this world.
Yeah.
To try and bring some light. And I hope we're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
But I do think there's something about like waking up each day and the first thing that we do is like we just go, man, I'm just gonna stick this over my face. And I'm gonna walk around viewing everything through this lens. We see no nature, no creation around us. We don't see people that are around us. We're not present with people. We're not seeing people, Austin.
No.
Like we're taking the 3-dimension and we're making it 2-dimension.
Yeah.
When instead we're supposed to be seeing the 3-dimension and making it 4.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we're losing a dimension of life.
Yeah.
By putting these in front of our faces.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that God would say, man, it's robbing you of value.
Yeah.
It's making you in the spot where you feel like you're living in two worlds.
Yeah.
You're constantly conflicted. And how dark is the darkness? Pretty dark.
Yeah.
Not just in what you see out, but how dark is the inner darkness?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What do you think about that?
I think you're spot on.
Yeah. So these are the P's of the pursuit of cultural transformation.
Yeah.
Starts with the patch that is about spiritual depth perception. We have the capability to see with 2 eyes and to be fully engaged with this world and also fully engaged with God. Doesn't mean that we're good at it, but God gave us the capacity to do it.
Yeah.
We need to practice it.
Yeah.
Some of that has to come down to patching, or fasting is another way to say that. The patch, but then if we are studying the Word of God, if we are knowing the Word of God, if we are engaging with life, we have to engage with it in such a way that we don't just look at it, but we look through it.
Yeah.
That's the perspective.
Yeah.
And if we can just go through life, looking at everything through the lens of God, through the lens of the nature of God, like even in our homes, like if you actually believe that God is a healing God, of which that is the God of the Bible. Now, I know that some Christians don't believe that he is that anymore, okay? But I do.
Yeah.
And so if I believe that God is a healing God, then I don't go through life and the moment anybody has a sickness, I go straight to the medicine cabinet.
Right.
Now, I'm not trying to say that God can never use medicine. I'm not on that side of things either.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do believe that God is a healing God. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the lens and say, okay, God, we're experiencing sickness.
Yeah. What's going on here?
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Is it tied to something that we're not eating right? We're not doing right? Is there something we're not handling right and we're not stewarding right?
Right.
And in other words, is there anything I need to repent of, God?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes there is.
Yeah.
And then if it's not that, then I'm like, okay, God, so are you trying to push me into anything? Are you trying to produce a greater dependence on you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to be more dependent on you.
Yeah.
Okay. We've dealt with that.
Yeah.
Then God, you are a healing God.
Yeah.
You made me to be healthy.
Yep.
And so, Lord, by your stripes, I can be healed. My family can be healed.
Yeah.
And I'm going to lay hands on my family and lay hands on people around me and pray for healing.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's what I believe.
Yeah. It's perspective.
You can have a belief that you never practice. That's the pair of glasses that sits on the shelf.
Yeah.
And you go around being like, I can't read that. No
Yeah.
idea what's going on there. But if we'll just pick them up.
Yeah.
Whatever belief that you have about God, it can't just be a set of glasses that sits on the shelf.
Yeah.
That you know all the scripture for it.
Yeah.
It has to be something you look through.
Yeah.
And that's what, man, I love this part. So if your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light.
What a promise.
What a promise for individually.
Yeah.
What a promise for our families.
Yeah.
What a promise for the church.
Yeah.
We should be filled with light.
Yeah.
Jesus says it's tied to your treasures and your eyes.
Yeah.
And man, I think we can do it.
Yeah.
So
Let's
coming
do
up
it.
next is we're going to talk next time about the pledge.
Yeah.
So the patch, the perspective, and the pledge, and just as an encouragement too. We talked about this last time. If this is something you're receiving value from, we would love to have your feedback into it, but also we'd love to have your investment into it.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to keep this podcast going as a way to add value into homes, into marriages, into families. And so if you're receiving value out of it and you want to give value back into that, and we certainly would appreciate that. And you can send us a message at risingtideman@gmail.com. Until next time, see you guys soon.